Hi, everybody. Namaste. I'll just wait till everybody gets back. And I realized I didn't do one thing, which will certainly help with the stream tonight. So let's just chat for a moment while I know I changed my time, but I'm on a bit early. Let's just chat a little bit about decks that you are working with and why you would choose this particular deck for a faith spread. I know, and I'll share with you some of the ones that I've used over the years. Yeah, well, I just get the banners ready for tonight, which I didn't do. Believe it or not, it's been a busy day. So tonight, I personally, oh, by the way, if you're new, just popping in, I'm Sadhana. Hi, lovely to have you here. I'm a tarot reader, among many other things. Love connecting to spirit and have been working with these tarot spreads for 3 years now. And really grateful to the tarot tubers, Queen Osset, whose channel's name is Oyas Girl, as well as Veronica Rose, who introduced me to this and the 7 precepts of Kwanzaa. So it really has been an amazing journey for me over the past 3 years. And this year I will be doing a recap as well as discussing maybe some of the upcoming changes for these spreads. I think that will be a natural segue to all of this. And yeah, one of the things that I really have loved, which is kind of, maybe this sounds strange, is working with the different shapes of the spreads. And I never knew the number 7 could be arranged in so many shapes. I think that has been really fun as well, too. All right, so just bear with me. I'm editing these banners. I didn't do that in advance. So go ahead and put your favorite decks for this particular spread into the chat, and then we'll talk about that in just a moment. How strong my faith is in my family is number 2. Community. So why am I using the Margaret Peterson tonight? Well, I did a deep dive with this deck not too long ago on my channel. I have a deep dive series that I'm doing regularly, and while I have always loved this deck, there is something that has become even more of a bond with me and this deck, and I just can't say enough about its energy. And some of my favorite decks are the ones that take me deep into energy work. And I was just rereading the descriptions for the fire quartz in her little white book is truly amazing. If you don't have this book, this deck, it's a tiny little book, but it's just a nugget. It truly, truly is. Okay, one more to add, and then I'll be with you. I thought I was all ready. Anyway, it's good, and thank you for your patience. There we go. Done. And I also want to put up one more question, and that is down below in the description box are the prompts for each of the days and sort of general questions. And there's some really good ones. So I want to start with this one here. Okay. And then I will go back to you. Hopefully that will take me back to you. Okay. I just want to make sure everybody's back before I really start here. I said just about ready, and then, okay, good. Lonely Dreamer. That is cool, Mary Beth. This is a deep and mysterious dive. The art is truly beautiful. I get why you would use that here tonight. And if you have any more words you would like to share on why you chose this deck, that would be great. Tamian is, and hello, by the way, to all of you. using the Way Home. I have had this deck a long time, and it has seen me through difficult situations. I have a lot of faith in its messages, so felt it would be a good guide with these prompts. Some of the things, there's a couple things I like about the Way Home Tarot, and one is I think there's a few of the cards where we see this deep indigo magical sparkly thing going on. We see it in a four in a window. We see it in some of the cups. We see it in a couple of the majors as well too. I love that those cards. Some of my favorites, as well as the universe card is gorgeous, gorgeous. All right. Is anybody else? It looks like it's just Tammy Ann and Mary Beth, and Clevis may be back. Okay. Let us know when you're back, Clevis. What can I do today to establish a deeper okay, so you're using another art deck. This is another beautiful art deck. I will definitely be picking this one up. There's something about this art that is very, very intriguing. Great. Okay. So let's go to this question here, and this is not one of the prompts. This is an over general question here. What can I do today to establish a deeper relationship with trust? Believe it or not, trust in chakra psychology, well, most of you have taken my chakra courses, so you hopefully remember this, is connected to the third chakra. And when we relinquish control and when power comes into its highest frequency, it is a lot easier to move into a place of trust. So, trust is one of the highest frequencies of the solar plexus chakra and the Manipura chakra. And then when we gain that trust, we move into the heart space. So, it is, in a way, we could say that trust is required for a balanced heart space in order to fully understand the frequency of Anahat chakra. The other piece here too with Manipura chakra is that at the diaphragm, the just the fact that a lot of people don't know how to breathe, and if we were all doing diaphragmatic breathing and breathing well and breathing properly, I think Manipura chakra would be ascended by more people. It's a very difficult place for people to ascend, and we see that. It's unfortunately it's very obvious in perimenopausal women who even post menopause, even menopause, when the certain symptoms persist. This is a sign of an imbalanced Manipura chakra, and I think if we could all just learn to breathe, this would make such a difference. I'm going to go to Mary Beth's comment here. Just in terms of looking at faith, the lonely dreamer seems like you're peeking behind the veil. I love the purples in that deck. The purples are absolutely stunning. Yeah. Hi, Kristen. Welcome to you. Let us know what deck you're going to use for the spread tonight. We're just talking about faith and what decks evoke a sense of trust in you. And as you move into 2023, what can you do to establish a deeper relationship with trust? So I'm suggesting if you don't have any pranayama practices, breath practices, to get back to that, because that will definitely make a difference. Is there one thing you can do to relinquish control a little bit? Is there something as far as planning and needing to know and the way that you go about organizing and managing other people? Is there something in that area that you could slow down or, dial it down just a little bit? Because that is another big one. Trust. And unfortunately, with history, this can be very challenging for people. The other piece of this is the reestablishment of self-worth and self-esteem. The more one values oneself, the more one can trust in something greater and beyond. It really is it's a beautiful concept to sit with, and maybe this would make a great discussion for a Friday video, and I could come up with, actually, you know what? I think I will do that. I think I'm going to, this is a great segue from Kwanzaa, and this Friday, I am going to recap the tarot card readings of the year. But next Friday, which is the 13th, January 13th, why don't I do that? I will create a trust spread, and we'll carry on with this conversation. Unless something else urgent arises, and anyway, it's on the list. The Abyssal Tarot. Okay, I don't know that one. I will definitely be looking it up. All right, so I'm going to show you the shape for the spread today, but before we lay down any cards, can I get you to hold your deck in your hand, uncross your legs, feet on the floor, and just come to your breath. Deep, full breaths. And let's become aware of the diaphragm. And as the inhale fills the body, there should be, you should feel a softness in the belly. So with the inhale, the belly moves out. And with the exhale, the belly moves towards the spine. The air, the diaphragm comes up, and the air moves out of the body. I think if diaphragmatic breathing is uncomfortable or new to you, the best place to practice is on the floor, lying down. And you can put your hands on your diaphragm or your navel center. As we focus tonight on the precept, the Kwanzaa precept of faith, Imani, let us be supported by our guides and ancestors. Allow messages to come through on this first day of January 2023, supporting all of us on our journeys as we embark on this next step. And we have had many new beginnings. Many of us follow various traditions, calendars, and so forth. And this Gregorian new beginning is just another. And so let's take full advantage of it and the opportunity that it provides. As always, we ask these messages be in the highest for the greatest good, and that no harm be done. So be it. Okay, I'm going to keep an eye on the candles. I have spare ones behind. Habari Gani, Imani. Habari Gani, Imani. When I was a university student, I was fascinated with linguistics, and we used Swahili a lot in the linguistics 100, the 200 courses, 300 courses. I remember it was one of the professor was he was French, and it was a language that he referred to a lot when we were breaking down grammar and things. Maybe a language I would go back to. Okay. All right. So shuffling, cutting the cards, and I will offer the positions. Okay. All right. So tonight we're going to go 1, 2, 3. So there's a group of 3 over here. And then a row of 4. Just looking at the card on the bottom. I haven't had time or thought about discussing the card on the bottom any of these nights. Maybe I will. We'll see how time goes. All right. So the first prompt for tonight is, how strong is my and I've sat with these for many hours today, and I want to talk about possible ways to change the language here. How strong is my faith in myself? Tell me something about my faith. My faith in, I think this one kind of works. I mean, you can find your own language around it, but it's I think an important question. Um, how strong is my faith in faith? How strong is my faith in faith is also a pretty important question. Really love this this suit in this deck. I just feel so much connection here. So much connection. Connection with others, gratitude for others. The fact that this is a 6, it's sitting in the center. It's a heart chakra card. This really feels beautiful, bright and beautiful to me. Bright and beautiful. And I'm wondering, looking at Mary Beth's card, if there's an awakening, or if there is a new perception or a new path, something that is unfolding in a different direction. Let me know how you feel about that card. And tonight, if you're sharing the card that you have chosen, and I would appreciate it if you just made a couple comments about it. So Tamian feels this one's a little difficult. Justice reversed. If you understand justice as the law of karma, and I tend to read reversed cards simply as an exclamation mark. There are cards that really want to be seen. I don't tend to read them as the opposite meaning, but there's definitely an emphatic thing here. So I would need to sit with that. Hi, Amanda. Welcome. Thank you, Kristen. I'm feeling, so when I think of that card as karma, the justice card, the world will reset. Everything will be reset, no matter what we do. So there may be a struggle with the idea of trust and the big picture. When I saw your card, Amanda, the first thing that came to my mind was diving into Aramaic, or learning, looking into the root, the beginning of language and words, and something like that. I was, or perhaps this was diving into the learning a new mantra or something like that. I know the question is, how strong is my faith in myself? But Sometimes these cards just want to tell a story of their own. The second prompt directs us to family, and I have the moon. Let these cards tell a story. Let these cards tell a story of faith. Don't get too wrapped up in answering the questions directly. And I recommend this for all spreads that have specific prompts in 7, in each position. This is a story of faith. It's a story of your response to faith, your present response to faith, your present experience with faith. Beautiful. Thank you, Clevis. So we're looking at faith in self, family, and community. And as you look at these 3 cards together, do they paint a picture? Do they paint a picture? A picture of your faith. Now I have earth, water, and fire. I see something quite dynamic, receptive, and acknowledging the connectivity of both. As we grow, as we move through life, our experience with faith morphs, right? It wanes and it waxes, it shifts, it takes different paths. And so look at this present picture of faith and just sit with that for a moment. I'm intrigued with Clevis card number 3. Some of you heard me talk about the High Priestess, and I forget which deck it was. And instead of seeing her as a gatekeeper to the temple, I saw her the card where she was inside the temple and the pillars were behind her. And it was almost as if I felt like I was with her in the temple. Sometimes I think we need to blur our vision and allow the cards to come to life. And if a card is challenging for you, to really sit with it and be with it, talk to it, write about it, ask it questions, this can really help. All right, now we have so this is, I would say this is the arrow. So this is the movement of energy. This is the current this is the situation, and this is the arrow. And all of these prompts have the word encourage in them. And is there one for self? So this one is family and community. How I encourage my family and community to grow. Can you expand this question to include faith? Because there's something about these last 4 prompts that I want to bring back. I feel like they've wandered away from the topic. Hmm. Again, I have this sort of container of sacred space. This particular one, I feel, I don't know what deck, what we're looking at. I think it's the nine of coins. The nine of coins in this particular deck, where we see the rock garden, like something like you would see in a temple in Kyoto. Um, and here, I actually see a gong as opposed to a door. Maybe this is a call to order or something. But the fours, each of the fours in their own way create a quality of space. And so how I encourage my family and community to grow is to actually this makes a lot of sense to me. You hear me say this often about creating sacred space in a corner of your tiny little apartment. You can create sacred space in a little box and open it up and take it with you where you want to go. What about expanding this one? Don't go on to the number five yet. Think about how you can share faith. How can I share faith with my family, community, colleagues? How can I share concepts of trust and the divine with my family and community? I really feel part of the process of these spreads is in bringing in the primary precept into these questions and really working these questions into something that resonates and something that you can work with at this time. Okay, I'm just going to go to the last comment I can see, which is Amanda. Card four is Page of Wands. I need to have more interaction with others. Hmm. There's a sense of freedom with the Page of Wands. And Amanda, one of the things I feel here is encouraging others not to be too hung up on the how of faith, but the experience of faith and the joy and the beauty of faith. I really think what's missing from this sentence is in faith. I'm actually going to edit it right now. Just give me 1 second. Let's add in faith. Okay. In trust. And I'm sure you can all find some really beautiful, eloquent ways to express this. Mhm. All right, let's go on. This one doesn't sit well with me. I need to work on this one. How I encourage my family and friends to value accomplishment and sex. Oh my goodness, success. What in the world does this have to do with faith? How I encourage my family and friends to value accomplishment and success. Um, all right. This one. All right. I really need to work on this question. Statement. So the word journey here is really important. I never feel faith is about an accomplishment, but sometimes in faith practices, there are steps. There are things that we learn. There are milestones. If we look at awakening through the chakras, there's awarenesses. How I encourage my family and community to find or recognize this is a spiritual. Okay, this isn't quite right either, but this is more along the lines of I think a faithful essence to this statement. So, for example, when I'm thinking of Mary Beth's question, when we have the Nine of Wands, a client, a friend has a card like the Nine of Wands, or they're in that Nine of Wands experience. I swear when this comes up in a spiritual reading, it simply feels like stay one moment longer. Adjust your sacred space, adjust the timing of when you meditate. Um, Find a way so you can break through. Yes, this is about an abundance of thought, of fulfillment, a saturation of thought and little voices in your head and all of that. But there's just that next level that's right there. Okay, so my card. My card. Uh, okay. Feel. Feel. Open. Allow. Okay, I'm going to go to Kristen. If you think about strength, inner strength, deep inner strength as a trusting in self. I need to go back to the. Could we look at these cards, at your card, as to not doubt the experiences. You said, have the courage to believe what they wish to believe. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I'm sure you can find, as you journal with that, you can find other words and ways to describe that. Okay. All right. Now, ooh, I love that, Tamian. Now, this one I can edit easily. um, this one is easy for me to edit. And what I want to say is this. Instead of saying keep commitments, I want to say keep coming back to spirit or spiritual practice. And this might be simply encouraging them. Mom, I'm gonna watch your dog today. Go for a walk in the woods without the dog. connect with nature, just you and nature. And I'm going to watch your dog today. So you don't have to worry about where the dog's going. And maybe you can go and take a trail that you wouldn't necessarily take with the dog. Okay. So I'm curious. I know I used this deck last year for this one, and the High Priestess, where did she show up? She showed up somewhere. I'm pretty sure she did. Yes, she did. She showed up in the same position. She showed up exact same position. Well. All right, so let me just share a couple things here. How I encourage my family and community to keep coming back to spirit or spiritual practices by modeling, by holding space, by holding space for what they are sharing. So some of my daughters have very different spiritual practices than I do. And so one of the ways I encourage them to come to spirit is to allow them to share their practices with me and to be open to listening to them. Okay. Card 6 for Mary Beth. 5 of Cups. Maybe this is a reminder to manage my expectations, encourage baby steps, drink from the cups you have. And maybe also letting people know that it's okay to release aspects of spiritual practices and faith that no longer serve. We can adapt our practices. We can let go of. Don't feel guilty if you no long if reciting the rosary no longer feels you no longer feel that in your energy body. All right. Clevis, 10 of Cups. Get together, celebrate, honor, be joyful, sing, express, connect. Yeah, all those things. Beautiful, Clevis. Kristen Louise, I quit encouraging my community to be honest. I've grown frustrated with trying to get them to be invested in the group. I encouraged my mother to return to her Catholic faith, though. So go back to the first 3 cards, Kristen, because where you are right now, might be at a place where this is a time for resetting what's going on within yourself. And it would make perfect sense that if the focus is on redefining something within you, that there isn't energy or patience for other at this moment. So I suppose that's another really good thing to look at, is if the first 3 cards were challenging to interpret, it would make sense to simply turn over the next 3 cards. Because if your cup isn't full, if your cup doesn't feel comfortable, how can you be in service to others? Okay. So the last one has to do with your focus. And I have the karma card. How I stay on purpose. And this particular card just takes me back to big picture. Big picture, Sadhana. Big picture. Big picture. Let go. It's out of your hands. Let go and let God. Could you come up with a phrase like that for your final card? An affirmation of sorts. And for me, that's exactly what I feel here. Let go and let God. I'm intrigued. I'm going to give you space to do that if you feel compelled to do that. All right, let's go to Mary Beth. Reminder, so 9 of Pentacles. Reminder to rest in gratitude for the spiritual beliefs and practices I have. Let it be known I have access to resources that I can share with others. Those resources are all around me in every direction. They come in many forms. They are easily accessible to me. And I have worked a lifetime in developing and getting to know them as well, too. So that's beautiful. That's good, Amanda. That's good. And thank you again for your generosity yesterday. I really appreciated it. And I also really appreciate the words that you offered as well, too. It was beautiful. Tammy Ann. And there is a deep connection. So if we think about passion and drive, you might want to also look at any connections with the Nia spread. Okay. Kristen. Right? Sometimes 3 cards is enough. So we turn over the other ones and we have a good look at the ones that are about my portrait. And maybe the last one, the first 3 and the last one. There's no need to overwhelm. There's no need to force a spread. Thank you for sharing that, Clevis. Really important advice. So perhaps you are in my class and we're working on a 10-card spread, such as the Integrative spread. And you lay down the first 4 cards and it's like, wow, what does this mean? This is so difficult. And there's so many layers in those first 4 cards. Those first 4 cards are a snapshot of the Tetragrammaton. We can look at them as the voice of the emperor. We can look at them as stability and foundation. And that in itself is enough. So we leave the other 6 cards not revealed and sit with that first part of the spread for a week or a month. And maybe we even wipe those other cards away because that's enough. Yeah. It's a really good idea. It's a really good idea, Clevis. Clevis said she's adding pictures to her journal. And I do that as well too. I used to do that much more than I do now. And I do that with client spreads now. So I take a photo of the spread and I put it in a binder. so that I can go back to it and talk about it the next time that we meet. It really does help to take a photo, because we can't always leave tarot cards, different spreads all over the house, for weeks on end. Things have to get tidied up. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey for Kwanzaa 2023. And my intention is to do a wrap up and come back and talk about these concepts. And I just don't know how or when, or maybe this is something that I will work towards so that Kwanzaa 2023 looks a little bit different and is coming more from me than regurgitating somebody else's spreads, even though I needed to do this for 3 years in order to digest what this experience was, and to find my place in this, being white, obviously, right? So that's another big one. I'm glad you're here too, Kristen. So I want to wish you all a beautiful night. Sleep well, and a very happy. Count your blessings. Count your blessings. Allow joy. Allow joy in your life. Allow joy in the moments between. And know that I'm here if you ever need to reach out. And I will see you all very soon, I'm sure. Namaste.